Every single time Francis speaks lately, he takes up with the enemies of God. I'll give you an example. My city, poor Minneapolis, has become a city unrecognizable to those who grew up here. The city has been destroyed. I don't recognize it since the George Floyd ordeal. It was obviously just the biggest piece of fake news that any of us have ever lived through, probably apart from COVID, the whole Floyd thing. But now consequently, because the media and the politicians and everybody else took that political football and ran with it all around the world, nobody is safe, not just here in Minneapolis, but all over the world. So first, using that one incident, they were so happy because of the graphics that they got. They were so happy that they were able to use that to defund the police, right? And now they're trying to find ways to, ironically enough, protect the judges in courts of law.
Overnight, a judge attacked in a Nevada courtroom.
So what you have there, friends, is a snapshot of law and order in America, which has only gotten exponentially worse since the peaceful protesters and the media told the whole world that law and order is racist. You see, that was one of those incidents, like the assassination of the Archduke in Sarajevo, that tipped off something much bigger. We're gonna do a show on this and what's happening to this town specifically. This was the epicenter, and what's happening to law and order all around the world because of it.
I do hear that the mayor talks that crime is down.
Crime is down. Crime is down. Say it with me. Crime is down.
I often wonder if we're looking at the same city. Overall, crime is way up.
Give me the keys. Give me your money, everything. Keys, everything. Everything.
How they ignore that or don't pay attention to that is beyond me. It's just another example of why we're in this situation we're in now.
Can you even keep up?
No.
And if you watch this documentary and you see the massive miscarriage of justice, the lies that went on, we all watched it happen in real time. And you realize we have become nearly, or maybe even already, ungovernable because there is no moral code on which to base what happens in courts of law or on the streets of our world anymore.
Shaving is in the courtroom, but America's on trial.
Thank you, George Floyd, for sacrificing your life for justice.
But even Dr. King's assassination did not have the worldwide impact that George Floyd's death did.
But you know what? You expect that from Nancy Pelosi and the Reverend and guys like Joe Biden. But there was one more voice that I would have placed, actually, if I had made this documentary, I would have put this guy at the top of the list.
¿Saben lo que me viene a la mente a mí ahora, junto a los movimientos populares, cuando pienso en el buen samaritano? ¿Saben lo que me viene a la mente? Las protestas por la muerte de George Floyd.
Just think about that. Popes rarely comment on something like that. Francis did it several times and just jumped into an international news story. He wasn't here. He's thousands of miles away. He didn't know what was going on. Hardly anybody did, right? But the Pope decided he was going to come in and choose a side. We thought at the time that the peaceful protesters had burned our city. But the Holy Father informed the whole world that good Samaritans had burned our city, had burned down the 3rd Precinct police station, as you'll see in this documentary, as such an emblem or a symbol of burning down law and order in our world, in the modern world.
Where is it? Breach the northwest corner of the front.
Northwest corner of the front has been breached.
They're coming in. They're coming in the back. We need to move. We need to move.
Need to move now.
One of the squads rams through the fence to get it open.
I remember looking through the rearview mirror as we left. It looked like a zombie movie. They all just rushed to the fence and started climbing the fence, and they caused the fences to collapse, and then they just all rushed the precinct. And as we were driving down the line, every window got broken out of the squad car, driving the gauntlet down Snelling.
Can you even believe this is happening in that moment?
Never seen anything like it.
And the Pope comes out, calls those people good Samaritans.
Por el estilo. Pero lo esencial es que ahí, en esa manifestación contra esa muerte, estaba el samaritano colectivo, que no era ningún bobeta. Ese movimiento no pasó de largo cuando vio la herida de la dignidad humana golpeada por semejante abuso de poder. Los movimientos populares son, además de poetas sociales, samaritanos colectivos.
You see why resisting him is the top priority? About 1 year later, Francis was out there telling the world that everybody, including kids, had to be vaccinated.
Vacunarse es un modo sencillo pero profundo de promover el bien común y de cuidarnos unos a otros, especialmente los más vulnerables.
Now that we know, two things. Now that we're facing, again, the rematch, the COVID rematch, headed up by the World Health Organization coming in May with this treaty, and now that we know what we know, which I can't talk about because at least some of you are watching me on YouTube sometimes, now that we know all that, does Francis get to get away with what he did? Is he okay with you? Think it was fine what he did? He's not a scientist. He's not a doctor. What's he doing? Why did he involve himself right away like he did in that, which has resulted was just in tragedies all around the world. Let's leave it at that, considering YouTube is watching. No, serious question. Don't let it be somebody else's kids, somebody else's babies and grandbabies that you allow them to forcibly jab in your mind, like right now. Make it your little kid. Make it your little grandchild, the one that you love so much. And you realize that these guys are sending people like Bill Gates after your little children and your little grandchildren with their needles. Right? That's bad enough. Let's do another little thought experiment. Given what we now see happening throughout the whole world with the Pope himself no longer backing us up if we take the stand in favor of Bible-based morality, given what we know, project yourself a few years ahead, a couple years from now, and where do you think you're going to stand on gay marriage? Let's say one of your nieces or nephews decides that they're going to get married. They're going to have a gay union marriage. And you're going to have to skip the wedding, right? You're going to have to be the big bad guy. And everybody in your entire family gets to say, what's wrong with you? Even the Pope accepts this. So I ask the question once again. 2 years from now, where are you going to stand on gay marriage? Where are any of us going to be standing if this continues?
Pope Francis ushering in a dramatic shift in Vatican policy, formally approving blessings for same-sex couples. The Vatican's Doctrine Office issued a statement stating that priests can offer the blessings as long as they don't resemble regular church marriage rituals. The move is aimed at making the Catholic Church more inclusive. Pope Francis says people shouldn't be subjected to an exhaustive moral analysis.
So all of us now are kind of sitting here, as Alexander Pope said, vice is a monster of so frightful mien, remember? As to be hated, needs but to be seen. Yet seen too oft, Familiar with her face, we first endure, then pity, then embrace. In the name of mercy, Francis is teaching all of us, teaching the whole world, how to embrace a vice that calls to heaven for vengeance. That's what he's doing, because he's the moral authority. And he's missing in action when it comes to enforcing or even talking about it.